I said I wouldn't do it. I don't have the space to do it, but I did it. It's another book haul. So, as you can see, my shelves are full. I have honestly like 20 books on the floor. I have them like double stacked and stuff. I really need a new bookcase, but I have no space to put it. So I said I'm not buying any more books. I also got so many good ones for my birthday. I'm still making my way through them. I've read about half. I'm really enjoying them, and I also don't want to get rid of them either. So I'm not really making new space on my shelves, but I can't help but go into charity shops. I tell myself it is okay because I'm supporting charity and they need the support. It's just win-win because then I'm acquiring new books. New books that I don't need. But I did get some amazing books this month from charity shops, so I'm going to share them with you. Honestly, if you are not looking in charity shops for new books, you are robbing yourself. And I'm going to prove it to you with my first book, which is brand new. This was on my Amazon wishlist for my birthday, and I can't believe that I found it in a charity shop. Apparently we're just getting straight into this video. There's no chit chat, we're getting down to the important business. My book hoarding problem. And it's Wicked Fox. I've wanted this book for the longest time. And I've also just realized this is an American published version. I've spoke about this a lot on my channel, how I much prefer American paperbacks. They're tall and thin, they don't waste space, unlike British ones, which are just small and chunky and a waste of space. They have a nice flop. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. This is based on Korean folklore, which I don't know a lot about, admittedly. In this book, the main character is a half human, half nine-tailed fox. As a nine-tailed fox, she survives by consuming the energy of men. So she is killing, but she will only kill men that she feels deserve to be killed, and to her she's bringing about some form of justice. However, she gets herself into trouble by revealing who she is when she tries to save the life of a boy that she fancies. Because fancy boys are worth that, right? This seems like a pretty long read. I'm super excited that I found this in a charity shop. This is unreal. Next is a book I also found in a charity shop, and when I picked this up, the spine was unbroken, so I assume this was unread as well, and I picked this up for £1, and that's My Sister the Serial Killer. This was a really quick read, so I did sit and read it in one day. This is an adult contemporary novel about two sisters who live in Lagos, and the main character is supporting her sister in covering up her crimes that she's killing her boyfriends. It's not necessarily like a crime or a thriller, it's more discovering the relationship between two sisters and how far they'll go to cover up each other's crimes and sort of like the family dynamic between them. It was really good and a steal for £1. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for a quick read. Next, if you are not new to this channel, you'll know that if I see Rick Riordan, I have to buy it. And it is a book that I actually really needed. It's book 1 in the Kane Chronicles, and that's The Red Pyramid. I think this is book 1. If it's not, I'm gonna look like a tit, but never mind. I think it's book 1 of the Kane Chronicles. I have book 2, which obviously I can't start without book 1. I was going to buy it new because I was just sick of looking for it, but in the end I found it in Oxfam Books for £1. Again, the spine has not been broken. I'm pretty sure this is a brand new book. This is similar to the Percy Jackson series. It's in the same world, but it's not the Greek version. It's like the Egypt version where the Egyptian gods are real and they are living among us. The main character's dad is an Egyptologist who unleashes these gods, and the main character, who are his kids, I believe it's a daughter and a son, travel to Egypt to try and save him. The Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series are some of my favourite series of all time, so I'm very excited to get around to reading this one, especially because in general I have more interest in Egyptology than Greek mythology. Next is another Oxfam Books purchase, and that is I Was Born for This by Alice Osman. I got Loveless for my birthday off Katie, who is a very good blogger friend of mine. I'll leave the link to her Twitter down below. And Loveless was my first Alice Osman book. This will be my second. I never intended to actually go out and buy another Alice Osman book, but when I saw this for £1, I just had to have it. I've heard very good things about this one. I have read Heartstopper and I'm up to date on it, and I really love it, so I'm looking forward to reading some of her novels as well. She's known for writing really good YA contemporary novels, and in this one, from what I gather, it is about our main character who's in a band. Oh wait, that's the male character. I think there's also a female character who is like a mega fan of theirs, and it's about their journey of like coming together. I definitely didn't expect to find an Alice Osman book in a charity shop, so I was very surprised and snatched this up straight away. The next two books are gifts of Rebecca Reads, because as you know, in every video there is a gift of Rebecca. She just buys me all of these books. Like, you wonder, Vanessa, how do you have so many books? It's because Rebecca Reads buys them. So please go over to her channel. She doesn't have anywhere near as enough subscribers as what she deserves. She's putting out some really good content. So if you're sick of me on this channel, head on over. I'll put a link to her channel in the description below. So the first gift she bought me, I don't know where she found this, but I had said to her that I'm looking out with, this is something that I don't usually do. I was holding out for a very specific version of a book in a cover that matched my other covers. I absolutely hate it when you get halfway through a series and then they change the cover style. This especially happened with an Ember in Ashes, which now you can't get the books that are now coming out in the original to match the original covers, which I have, because I bought the book 1 and book 2 in matching covers when they were first published, and now they've all been republished to match the 3rd and 4th book, I believe, or they may have even changed again in this time. I think they have. Specifically, you could finish this trilogy with the matching book. You just couldn't buy the matching 3rd book anymore brand new because they've changed so many times. And I was holding out to buy this secondhand. That's the only way I could buy it. And it's this edition of Ruin and Rising, which matches my Shadow and Bone series. I absolutely love these covers. I don't know why they changed them. I think it definitely matches what they're going for with the Russian-esque vibe atmosphere. And also the blue, purple and red goes with the theme of the books as well. So I don't know why they changed it. I think these look so cool. Anyway, not only did she buy me this, she also bought me a brand new copy. This is never read. This is absolutely perfect condition, and I'm thrilled with it. This is definitely one of my new favourite purchases, and it's just because this took me freaking years to find this, and she just ups and orders it. I don't think I need to explain Shadow and Bone series and what the Grisha Trilogy is about. I think if you're here interested in booktube videos, you're gonna know about this series. I first read Shadow and Bone when it came out. Didn't really like it. Was going to get rid of Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm, which was book 2, which I owned because I bought it at the same time as book 1, anticipating I'd like them, and didn't like them. I kept them for about 5 years and thought, you know, I either need to read them again or chuck them out. I read them again and absolutely loved them. So I'm pleased I reread them, and I'm very excited to get around to reading book 3. This will be on my November TBR. And then once I finish this, I can get over to Six of Crows. Is that what it's called? Which I'm dying to read. Anyway, Ruin and Rising, got this. Thank you, Rebecca. Publishers, stop changing cover art. Allow me to complete a series, please. This was a gift that was waiting for me when I came back from my honeymoon. I can only assume that this is a honeymoon present. I think she's read it because she said that me and my husband, who isn't a reader but will read occasionally, would enjoy. And it sounds really good, and it's Vicious by V.E. Schwab. It has the most interesting cover. It's like words that have been like blotted out with bones and swords and stuff. From what it tells me on the back, this is about 2 college roommates that both share a supernatural near-death experience which gives them powers, and then we flip to 10 years later and they're now enemies and they're trying to eradicate each other. It's the classic story of superhero and supervillain, but with a twist. It sounds really good. I did read A Darker Shade of Magic, which is also by this author. I didn't really like it, but I definitely want to give the author another chance, which is why I was really looking forward to getting around to reading something else. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for providing me with Vicious to read. It does definitely sound more up my street than the plot of A Darker Shade of Magic, which I thought was well written, but I just didn't like the plot. But this seems a lot more me. The next 3 books come via Reading Pages, who is a blogger. I'll leave the link to her Twitter and blog in the description as well. I must stress that she was actually just going to give me these as gifts, but once I found out what 3 books that she had in mind, I couldn't possibly just take them off her, so I did get her something off her Amazon wishlist in exchange for these books. So thank you very much, Paige, for providing me with these, because One of them, which is probably the best, I'm going to leave till the end, is a book I've wanted for years, and it's come in the best possible way. So the first book I want to talk about is Unravel the Dawn. This is book 2 in the Blood of Stars duology, the first book being Spin the Dawn, which I have here. And I got this for my birthday off Eleanor. I've read it and I really enjoyed it. I will be talking about this in my October wrap up. If you want to know more about that, then please subscribe so you don't miss that video. But this is book 2. I'll be definitely getting around to reading this soon. Book 1 is Soul is a Mulan retelling. Mulan meets Project Runway, but it's actually a lot more to it than that. It definitely comes into its own plot and its own storyline in the second half. Spin the Dawn is about a girl who is a master tailor, and she's entered into a competition to try and make a gown or garments for the king's future wife. However, this competition is male only, so she does pose as her brother to enter, which is the Mulan-esque element, but when it starts to come into its own, it's about a journey to find mythical artifacts to create a mythical dress. And on her way, bad things happen, which I'm assuming will be the plot of this novel and how she gets herself out of these sticky situations. Again, this cover is so stunning. I love these together. I think these could literally be wall art. This was definitely a book I needed. This was a book I was going to buy new. It's in really good condition, so thank you so much, Paige, for thinking that I would need this book, because I definitely do. The next one is Mexican Gothic. I spoke about this in my last video as one that would be on my dream Halloween TBR. I definitely thought this book would be longer than what it is. It actually doesn't seem to be that long. It's set in 1950s Mexico, and the main character receives a note, which I believe is the one in the back, which is, he's trying to poison me, you must come for me, Naomi, you have to save me. And this drives the main character to go and visit her cousin's house in the Mexican countryside, and when she's there, she starts to unravel a dark family history. This is described as a gothic thriller paranormal horror novel, but it's mainly the gothic element that's attracted me, because I really like gothic novels. So I will be picking this one up shortly. It definitely seems like a book to be reading this season. And last but certainly not least is a book that I've been wanting to try and find secondhand for years. You'll know that I only buy books secondhand. I don't tend to buy them new. And I've just never found it, even though it's a very, very old book. And that is The Cruel Prince... The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is definitely one of these books where the hype train has been and gone. The season is done, it's finished and it's over with, but I've never got around to reading it because I've never owned it, and I want to find out what the hype is about. This also came with, I think this is a Fairy Loot edition. It also comes with like little cards and an illustrated card for more stuff here. I don't actually get subscription boxes because I can't afford them, so it's nice to actually get something which is a little bit of an exclusive, and it also has a signature plate in as well. So thank you, Paige, for giving me the opportunity to actually own something like this. The premise of this book seems very Sarah J Maas, who it turns out I'm very much trash for Sarah J Maas, even after all the things that I've said about her books. So in this book, it does seem to be a throwback to the heyday of about 5 or 6 years ago, when fae and fairies were like the thing. The main character's family is assassinated, and her sisters are abducted to the realm of the fae and their royal court. This kind of seems very much like A Court of Thorns and Roses, which was a book that I didn't really like, but I just didn't like the adult content in it. I've heard very good things about this one. This is part of a trilogy. I'm looking forward to a non-Sarah J Maas take on fae. I just love all that YA fancy fairy tale nonsense. That's probably my weakness. So they are all the books that I've been hauling, even though I shouldn't have been. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you've been buying this month. Let me know what gems you've been finding in charity shops as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.